Hello and welcome to the PRL Indy Pro 2000 Elite Series. We're back on the oval today. We head to Gateway, or Worldwide Technology Raceway as it is formerly known. This 1.25 mile racetrack is far from easy. Both ends completely different from one another. Should provide plenty of great action today as we get into it here on the Global SimRacing Channel. My name is Ryan Jones. Alongside me is Oshin Pahako and Joe Peak behind the scenes, using cameras provided by Dougie Beer, DJ Clark as well in the Pit Reporters booth for this one. And let's take a look then at how we get around this Gateway circuit with our GSRC track guide.
Worldwide Technology Raceway, a speedway born out of the speedway boom of the 90s. More colloquially known as Gateway, the track sits in Madison, Illinois, just on the other side of the mighty Mississippi, from St. Louis and its famous arch. And like that arch, Gateway has become a passage to the western United States for many series calendars. The facility itself opened in 1967 for drag racing, but the changes started in the mid-90s when the land was raised and the rebuilding began. As part of the rebuilding, a 1.6-mile road course was built inside and using part of the 1.25-mile track we are here for today. Its egg-shaped and differing ends in both radius and banking is a challenge for anyone trying to set up a car here. Even though the banking itself isn't too different, 11 degrees in 1 and 2 and 9 degrees in 3 and 4, the radius of 3 and 4 is much wider, so you carry a lot of speed down that front straightaway, which has led to some drama and classic finishes over the years in iRacing and on the real-life track. IndyCar returned here in 2017 after 14 years away, and in a short amount of time has become a coveted spot on that schedule. The NASCAR trucks also make a regular trip here every single year. ARCA is more off and on, and we'll sometimes get some late model and super late model action here with more regional series. Now, with downtown St. Louis and the Gateway Arch as a backdrop, it's getting time to drop the green flag at Worldwide Technology Raceway.
As always, today's race is brought to you by SimSA. Simulation Motorsports Affinity provides many consulting services, from completely customizing simulators to managing teams, individual drivers, and complete events. They're working hard to bring organizations, companies, manufacturers, teams, and drivers together at one place to support and promote sim racing internationally. They're also bridging virtual and real motorsports by providing a network between these two, involving sim racers, real drivers, teams, managers, engineers, and of course, motorsport fans alike. You can find out more about how you can get involved at simsa.net. Now, Ozzy, what more do you want to tell us about this facility?
Well, Worldwide Technology Raceway at Gateway, as it's very formally known, and the Gateway Motorsport Park, as people often say, and Gateway International Raceway, it's a 1.25-mile oval that's 2 kilometers long, and it's a very, very unique length, and it's a very, very unique oval as well, because it's not a cookie cutter at all. It's a fairly modern place. 11 degrees of banking in turns 1 and 2, 9 degrees of banking in turns 3 and 4, which are a lot wider. So there are two distinct ends to this oval as well, which you all gotta learn. And as you know, it can be more difficult than it looks. It's not just about turning left, it's about, using that banking to your advantage, learning each and every corner, the entry, the midpoint, the exit, where the groove is gonna be, and so on. So I think it's an excellent place for these little cars to have some racing, Ryan.
Yeah, most certainly. Let's take a look at how the championship stacks up, heading in to what is our 7th round of the season. Greg Sykes holding a 19-point margin, but he said last week that he's not comfortable heading into the oval circuits. He's put 240 laps of practice down at Gateway to try and make it stick. Mark McDonald sits in 3rd ahead of Nicholas Dell, and David McDonald pretty tight from 3rd on back. What about the teams, Ozzy?
Well, the Teams Championship, it's the same story as it's been all season. It's the Rust Racing boys in 1 and 2, with Steel leading Iron by 42 points. Lavoie Motorsports rounding out the top 3, with Team Talent 3 White just 3 points behind, and Team Talent Kinetic rounding out the top 5, 76 points behind Rust Racing Steel. So out of those, and between those teams, between those drivers, we should have a pretty good race. But how is the race going to be run, Ryan?
Yeah, race details here. It is going to be a 75 lap race or 55 minutes, whichever comes first, depending on how many cautions we get. Open setups as always, so you can make some adjustments, make it loose or tight, depending on how you want to drive it. Drive-throughs at 11 incidents, disqualification at 20. Although, as always, an oval racing, you get up there, you're probably going to be in a car that needs to be retired anyway. Bonus points for pole, fastest lap, and for receiving 3 incidents or less. Qualifying, by the way, is just about wrapping up. Throughout the race, if you want to see where your favorite driver is, make sure you head to GSRC.tv to keep a close eye on that and see what lap times they're doing right throughout the event. And if you want to get your company seen by an audience that consists of, well, over 1 million impressions each and every month, why don't you head down to the link in the description and find out how you can become a part of the Global SimRacing Channel group, and you can get yourself seen by a wide and diverse audience.
Indeed, and it's a wonderful, wonderful opportunity as well to get an eye on the audience that normally it's very, very hard to reach. These people, people use AdBlock, people use things like that. Well, on race like this with overlays and with sponsor callouts and such, hey, they can't stop us from calling out your company name. But yeah, we have the starting grid ready, I do believe, Ryan. And
we do.
It's oval-wise not a very surprising top 2.
Nicholas Delp, Andreas Ike sit on that front row, separated by 200 of a second. Daniel Zegers and Joshua Chin start 3rd and 4th ahead of Liam McQuinn and Andrew Wood. Mitchell Ian Green and Declan Eady are on row 4. Greg Seitz only starts 9th. David McDonald start alongside him in 10th.
Daniel Cronifus starting 11th ahead of another David Sru, with Brandon Wilson 13th, Armando Edwards 14th, Mark McDonald 15th, Alex Guillon 16th, and Aaron Ruffs, Byrne Daly, Marshall Stanley, and Jean-Francois Matt rounding out your top 20. And with that, I believe we have weather as well here, as weather happens everywhere. And for those details and a bit about strategy, we go to our pit reporter, DJ Clark.
Hey guys, well, we are very hot here just outside of virtual St. Louis with about 89 degree ambient temperature Fahrenheit. That's about 31 Celsius. Track temperature is about 115 Fahrenheit, 46 degrees Celsius, 45% humidity with winds out of the northeast at 13 miles an hour. What is that going to mean for strategy? Well, it means that tires are going to be a big deal. It's going to be hot. We're going to see a lot of graining on the rear tires, specifically on that right rear. Fuel-wise, we can probably make it between 30 and 46 laps on a tank of fuel, do it on a one-stop, but I think anytime you're going to see a yellow, you're going to see these guys diving into the pits to get a new set of boots. The one thing to consider with that, if anybody has to make a pit stop under green, you have to adjust your line coming through 3 and 4 on a new set of tires. Tires will not warm up by that point, and they will have to lift through those corners, which are normally taken flat. So do not count a pass in the pits as completed until they cross the start-finish line.
Thank you for that, DJ. Cars rolling off on their one and only formation lap now behind the iRacing.com Ford Mustang pace car. Both ends of the racetrack, completely different from one another. You see there 1 and 2. You cannot get through there at full throttle. 3 and 4, though, if you're in clean air, you can take it pedal to the metal all the way through. But that dirty air might be a factor, certainly, through the last half of the oval, because you will have to lift off as that car in front takes away the air that pushes your nose down into the ground and gives you that little thing called downforce, which makes all the difference. All of that to think about, plus so much more for these drivers. Over 75 laps here at Gateway, round 7. PRL Indy Pro 2000 Elite Series is green as Nicholas Delp gets us underway with a great early start, and we go racing.
That we do clean start for those guys, and already a bit of 3 wide for the back, but they managed to get themselves sorted out, and it's clean all the way back as well. So, oh, never mind, there's yellow already, and that's Armando Edwards in the wall in car number 26.
Hadn't made it all the way through Turbo 1 by the time that one came out. We'll get a replay here as Armando Edwards, maybe Brendan Wilson involved as well. 3 wide already. As we come across the stripe, what has happened here?
Well, two separate incidents. There's going to be two cars, Brandon Wilson spinning out first, and Armando Edwards behind him. Just a separate incident spinning out as well, and actually hitting poor Brandon Wilson. And that's two write-offs early on in this race, and I do believe Brandon just, he lost it on the entry. You can see here Armando's view of it, however. He's going to see when he comes into the corner. He's going to be a little bit careful, just going in too fast, realizing it at this point, and I think he hit the brakes, which is the worst thing to do at that point when the car is already loose, and well, he's going to get some damage out of that one. Not as bad as Brandon Wilson.
I think he was reacting to the car immediately in front of him, which might have checked up a bit more than he was anticipating. Wilson's spinning, which caused Armando to go around. So two cars with damage then on lap 1. Wilson definitely a retirement from this race. Edwards potentially might have escaped that one.
Yeah,
without
indeed.
too much on his car. It certainly looks pretty nice at the moment.
Yeah, and Josh Chink looks the fastest lap of the race. Hey.
Yeah, they're on lap 3 under the caution.
Yeah, Ryan, there's an interesting point about this track, and we'll go to DJ for this one. But we should get it out first and foremost, because it's a very interesting point, and you mentioned it earlier on. The pit entry here is not very easy.
Yeah, that's right, guys. The pit entry point is coming into turn 3 and 4, but the actual pit lane doesn't start until you come around those turns and get onto the pit straight. Now, kind of based off of the quirks of the iRacing system, you cannot make a pass under yellow whatsoever, so you have to maintain that position through. So anybody who dives into the pits under yellow has to be looking out the right side of their car to make sure they don't pass anybody or get passed. I know I have been fully guilty of it running this in my own races, that I've tried to speed up and gain a few positions and will get a drive-through penalty that must be served under green.
Yeah, so we'll keep an eye on that then when we get closer to the pit stop window in about 30 or 40 laps time. Shouldn't really be an issue either if we do get pit stops under green, because under caution it'll be a case of everyone follows the leader. As we've still got another lap to go under the pace car here, making us wait just a little bit longer. Now, 3 and 4, it does seem easy on paper, the fact that you can take it at full throttle, but that little apex, the curb down the bottom side of the tarmac Aussie, where it really flattens out, can spin you around pretty quickly.
Yeah, that it does, and it's something these drivers are gonna really have to watch out for, because you don't get curbs on the inside of mini ovals. You get aprons, but not curbs. And once you hit that, if you're a little bit too greedy on the inside line, if you have to pass someone, or if you just miss your line, then you're gonna be in a world of trouble, because those walls, they show no mercy, as we know.
Hunting for clean air as well through this corner. If you're the car behind, Nicholas Delp can set whatever line he can. Let Andreas Eick in second. Maybe he wants to go for a wider arc in and cut down on the exit to ensure he's got clean air on the front of that car all the way through the corner. That will allow him to go through at full throttle as well as Delp and not lose quite so much time. Further back you go, though, the harder it is to find a line that has got no other cars in it, and you will have to lift off, as we do get the lights out on the pace car, so one more time around before we go back green, and it will be a single file restart here as Armando Edwards, it looks like he might have taken his Indy Pro PMA scene chassis down to pit road and got a few repairs or some fuel tires on that car, and he catches back up to the back of the train. Wilson, by the way, still down on pit road, 2 laps down. He is not going anywhere quickly.
No, he ain't, Chief, and they're just about ready for the restart, and let's see if they can make better use of those admittedly cold tires to get them hot and get them up and running before the racing can start proper.
See if we can get by turns 1 and 2 this time. Looking for our second attempt to go green at Gateway. As Nicholas Delp will hold them up and against the fence. And there he goes. Puts the power down, and it's a good jump again. A good launch. Look for Joshua Chen getting to the inside of Zegers now for 3rd place. He had a good restart.
He did, and he's trying to challenge for the inside. Let's see if that's gonna work out for him. No, he's not gonna get a good enough exit, had to lift out of it, and that's gonna leave Zegers then in that podium. Meanwhile, further behind them as well, Michelin Green and Liam Green side by side heading in the tree.
Green down on the bottom side, Quinn up top will hold on to P5. That low side costs him some momentum, and Andrew Wood is in there looking as well. Decides that he's not going to find a way by with that particular run. It just lifts off, and Green really throws it into the corner. 3 different lines being taken there. Wood lifted up very high and wide for the entry, and cut down low, and that's given him a very good run. Here we go to the inside.
Well executed there.
Good move. Textbook stuff there from Andrew Wood. How to complete a move on the oval.
Yeah, and meanwhile, further behind them, no one to go to it right now, but Mark McDonald went down to the pit lane for unknown reason, just came back, so he hasn't had the best of races so far. Certainly going to be an uphill battle from here. As well, what are we looking at? We're looking at the top 3 that's pretty much trying to separate themselves from each other, with Zegers closing in on Ike.
On board with Zegers then, as he runs in third and runs to the low side of Andreas Ike, keeping those left sides just above the nasty little apex to the corner. Wasn't able to get by him. Delp last time was 0.2 quicker than Ike. Zegers were about the same pace as him, so Zegers potentially being held up now just ever so slightly by Andreas Ike there in second. As we cross the line and the gap balloons. 1 second now covering the top 4. Andreas did a good job to actually pull in a couple tenths that time by.
Yeah, he did, and further behind him as well, Josh Chin, the man who I've been watching the last couple of laps. He's been steadily catching his battling cars up, because Delp, Ike and Zegers are all soon falling into the hands of the Florida driver, Josh Chin, and Chin is really on a good pace, even if he's hitting the limiter about 3/4 of the way through that main straight. So, you know, he's getting good launch of 4, and he set his car maybe more for single car driving than this pack driving, so he may have to wait for his opportunities to crop up later on. But yeah, the gap between top 4 and rest of the field very significant right now, Ryan, and I can't help but imagine these guys are going to want to keep it this way as long as possible.
Joshua Chin's really closed up. It's now well and truly a 4-way scrap for the lead of this race. It's a 2-second gap pretty much then. Back to Andrew Wood and Liam Quinn, who are battling away for 5th and 6th at the moment. And now that Ike has got himself well and truly in the wake of our race leader, he's finding it just a little bit more difficult to get that last bit he needs to be able to get by us. Delp runs a bit up the racetrack there for the middle of turn 4. Looking for the exit, which he gets. Zegers, you can see the run he's getting in third, with the benefit of 2 cars punching a hole in the air for him. But he's pretty much maxing out his speed, and he can't do anything with it.
Yeah, no, and that's one of those things that drivers have to be careful about, because of course these cars don't have that many end ratios in the gearbox, so they're gonna come against that problem sooner rather than later. And as such, the draft is not as overpowered as it would be in otherwise, but still Zegers gets a good run, and he does this thing now where he gets alongside halfway through the straights, and both of them are going to max out. Let's see if Zegers is able to hold on.
He did a good job, and I think there was a bit of a mistake from Andreas Ike there. Check out the run that Joshua Chin got. He goes by both of them down the back straight, and through 3 and 4, trying to clear Zegers and move up in front. Wasn't quite able to do it. And now Zegers starts to fight back up top with that momentum off the top of the banking. But that was a great opportunistic move from Chin. It'll work out for the most part. He'll complete the move on one of them. No, he had an opportunity there, Aussie, to move up in front of Ike, but he just didn't take it. Opted to be a little bit more cautious early on in this race.
Yeah, he did, Ryan, and I wonder why he didn't take it. Maybe, as you said, he was being cautious because we're at lap 15. It's a 75-lap race. It's still a long event. and don't get me wrong, so no need to fight tooth and nail for it yet. But I wonder if he would have been rather in second or third place than in the back of this pack. But maybe he just wants to, make sure the top 4 here has enough room to work with and doesn't devolve into battle packs that's gonna allow the rest of these guys to catch up. So, as we say often, there's a theory about, what's your best gain and what's your worst result out of battle. And in this battle, well, the worst you're gonna end up is 4th. But if you get like 5 more guys joining in, then basic maths are gonna say that the worst you're gonna end up suddenly is 9th if you happen to make a tiny mistake. So definitely points-wise, some great thinking by Josh there as Ziegler is getting closer and closer to Delta.
Well, the bad news to Joshua Butcher is he needs a lot of ground to get to the top of those championship tables with time quickly running out. He might not get there. You just saw how Ziegers got by and got to the lead of the race. A pretty calm move, and Delp couldn't fight him too hard for that. Happy to sit in behind. Point I want to raise is, as you sit behind, you can actually head down these straights at a little bit less than full throttle and not lose any time. And that allows you to save quite a bit of fuel, which could come in very handy if we get a green flag run here and we see green flag stops. You might be able to stay stationary for just a fraction of a second shorter, which could equate to a big gain out on the racetrack. Championship leader, by the way, Greg Seitz, he's back in 9th, and he's under pressure from Daniel Craneford, so it might be 10th in a moment. Now, he's a championship leader. He's got 19 points over second place. And he told us that the ovals are where he's worried, and he's looking to just get the best result he possibly can. At the moment, keeping his nose clean, doing what he needs to do.
Yeah, he is, and this is where he has to really, minimize his losses instead of maximizing his gains, or maximize his gains by minimizing his losses, because he doesn't have the pure raw pace on the oval side. On the road side, absolutely, one of the fastest drivers in this series, championship leader for a reason, being the king of the hill pretty much all throughout the year. And meanwhile, further back up top, it's Ike to the lead, and we're gonna leave sides B for a bit, because Ike is in the lead, Seeger's gonna go for the crossover, Ryan. Yeah.
Fantastic job, and he doesn't want to give up the lead of the race. Like Nicholas Delp did, he's going to fight this one. This is going to slow both of them up, as he takes it back away through turns 1 and 2. 1 and 2, it's much harder to run side by side, get the overlap or the crossover, as opposed to 3 and 4, because you're off the throttle. You've got to pick a point to get back on the throttle, and if you're on the low side, it's going to be much later than the guy up top. Allows him to carry much more momentum. Whereas in 3 and 4, if you're in clean air, you're pretty much flat out. Certainly on fresher tyres at least. Tyres now 22 laps into this race, about 16 of which have been under green flag conditions.
Yeah, and Ching is making a move meanwhile for P number 3. He's going inside of Delp, and well, you see the Canadian, Nicholas Delp, not fighting that too hard. He really just, let Josh go, and maybe at this point realizes that he doesn't have the pace to challenge the top 2, so maybe just drop back for now, let Josh lead him a little bit closer once again. I'm really impressed by Ziegers, though. I'm really, really impressed. The man's sitting currently well outside top 20 in the championship. He's 27th in the championship, but he's fighting for the lead of this race. And he DNF'd out of the first oval run too, so, it's very great how he has been able to pick it up later on this season and able to fight for the lead here.
Delp potentially struggling now. Last time, a 10th higher than Chin, and he's slowly fading, isn't he? He's now 6 tenths away from Ziegers, and you can see down the straight, the top 3 are starting to eke away from him, and he's fading ever so slightly. He might be hoping for a caution in the not-too-distant future to help him hit that reset button and maybe make some adjustments if he can down on pit road, strap on some fresh rubber, and maybe he will be able to claw his way back into the fight. Because on that lap, he didn't run too bad.
Yeah, and interesting guy I've been keeping one eye on as well, Andrew Wood. Now, he's sitting in 5th place, pretty much by his lonesome. But last couple of times by, and I know it's really too early to say anything, but last 2 laps he's been the fastest of the top 5, and really with very little draft as well. He's clocking in 30.2s here once again, 30.0 as he gets hold of the draft, with the lead of this train going 30.3, 30.3, 30.3, 30.3. So Andrew Wood really on a good pace, and he's going to catch him up in no time at this rate.
Started this race from 6, got by Liam Quinn. About 5 or 10 laps into the run. And certainly now looking very fast. Clean air working very nicely for him. 30.28 that time by. 3/10 quicker than our race leader. Ziegler's potentially now starting to become the cork in the bottle. Maybe his setup is geared towards a shorter run. And as we get closer to the end of the run, the middle and longer stages, it's starting to fade, because here comes Andreas Eick to the inside. De Ziegers fights it this time. He's trying to, looking for the crossover that he got a few laps ago. It's not quite as strong. He has got the overlap here. As Eick leads them across the stripe. See if he can keep the momentum up top and get the exit. He can't. He made a bit of a mistake on entry. And to check up, Ziegers, though, not being aggressive enough to convince himself he's got room to slide up in front of him. Allows him a car's width. Eick never filled that hole, and now Ziegers continues to lead this race. Ziegers very much looks like he might be a short-run car at the moment, as Eick will have another look.
Yeah, he's having another look there down the inside. Andreas Eick this time taking the lead, and once again Ziegers utilizing that crossover to his advantage, and he's really been solid on those corner exits today, Ryan. So I feel Ziegers has his car maybe set up with a little bit more in terms of grip and a little bit less on the entry. A little bit tighter on the entry and a little bit looser on the exit. There you go. Potentially, but that's just theory. And Andreas Eick once again gonna have to fall in second. Josh Chin, Nicholas Delp, and also Andrew Wood. Now all the 5 cars in the mix once again. And I must say, after, I'm not about to curse anything, and I'm not about to jinx anything here either. But after the first lap, it's been pretty clean.
Oh, Aussie.
I know. Sorry.
Hey, let's ride on board with Joshua Chin. And take a look at the different lines that Andreas Eick and Ziegers are taking in front of him, as he will lift off down the straight. And then see there how Eick sets himself up just a little bit higher on the entry. He sort of lost his way in the middle of the corner, but you can see Joshua Chin definitely running a different line, trying to keep some downforce on the front end. And watch through 3 and 4. At this stage of the run, Chin is having to lift off, but he's getting on the power much earlier, way before the middle of the corner, and driving off, getting the run down the straight. You can see how quickly he gains and then lifts off, because he doesn't want to make the move and doesn't want to pressure Eick too much, as again, the top 2 take differing lines. And these are all the games being played right now around the oval, trying to get that last little bit of a 10th at about a cool 260 kilometers an hour as he fires off into 3.
Yeah, and it's a very interesting game as well, because with such little cars, of course, you have the real estate to make all these changes and change all these lines and try to change your approach, because it's gonna be such a painful feeling for these drivers once you come into the corner. When you lose your front, when you lose the downforce, it's just not gonna turn. And as a racing driver, that's such a helpless feeling, because you're doing really everything you can. You're rolling off the throttle, you're turning the wheel, and it doesn't help when you turn the wheel more either. It's still not gonna turn. You just have to wait it out, roll it out early, and then, later on, get on the throttle as early as possible as well to try and at least maximize your run to the straight line. So far, these guys have been doing it very well. And especially with Ziegers, once he's been under attack, he's done those crossovers, which we mentioned many times, which you've seen many times as well. And those crossovers really, they are a fruit of his patience, in a sense that he can identify when Eick is getting a run and when Eick is going to the inside. Yeah, go on.
This battle though. Liam Quinn gets to the outside of Mitchell Ian Green and actually going to round him up around the outside. That's not a bad move. He can keep it up through 2. That's very smooth, and that's how you do it the long way around at Gateway. got to his right side through 3 and 4, completed it down at 1 and 2. Fantastic stuff from Quinn to take away P6. It's a long way behind Andrew Wood, though, who has now found himself on the back of the train. He's got to the gearbox of Nicholas Delp.
Yeah, and we speculated earlier on if Delp is a car for a short run. And it might be the case. He might be, playing it safe, but I don't think he quite has the raw pace. And here comes Wood, and I think he's going to pass him. No, he's going to wait. So that's very interesting from Wood. And Ryan, can you imagine a reason for that, for Andrew Wood? Because I thought if he was faster, he wants to, could be fuel.
He's been running by himself for quite some time. He's been making his own hole in the air for quite a long time, using up more fuel than the 3 guys in front of him, not including our race leader. C4 wants to save a little bit. All these drivers now are probably starting to err towards the side of this might go green towards the end, and so they're having to think about their pit stops. They don't want to be stationary for more time than necessary. Every little bit makes a difference.
Especially on ovals, when you can't really make that much of a difference in terms of lap time. When the lap times are closer, those 1 second, 1.5 second, even 2 seconds extra in the pit lane, that is going to hurt you a lot.
Speaking of, in pit lane, we just saw David McDonald taking service. Was it David McDonald? I think it was. So he's our first car to pit then. Now, we'll keep an eye on him and see what sort of lap times he does out here on what we can assume are fresh tyres. Before he pitted, his last 5 laps were 30.3, 30.38, 30.37, 30.32. As opposed to our race leader, Daniel Zegers, who's been punching out, pretty much about the same lap times. 33.9, 33.1, 3.9, 3.9, 3.2. So in terms of raw pace, he's not that far away. Issue for him is he is now lapped down, so if the caution comes out, he's in a world of trouble.
Yeah, he is, and that's the one thing you really gotta watch out for in the oval races, because when you're lapped down, it doesn't matter how good your pace is. If you're lapped down, you're lapped down, and you're gonna have to really work your way back. And meanwhile, Wood now makes the move on Delp.
Yeah, so Father makes that one stick, and manages to do it without losing much time either. They didn't battle, go side by side for multiple trips around the track. He'll suck up the back of Chin pretty quickly here. We'll drag Delp with him, I dare say, as well. For a little while at least.
And now I'm really curious to see where Andrew Wood's pace is relative to the top 3. You said earlier on, and I think it's a good call to say that he's saving fuel. I was wondering, why isn't he passing him? Because maybe, I was thinking Delp is gonna lose it out to the top 3. That's obviously not been quite the case. He still hasn't lost the draft, so maybe Wood could afford waiting here. And now he's decided to make the move and save some fuel in the 4th place instead, potentially. So Zegers, Ike, Chin, and Wood and Delp still in that lead pack. Meanwhile, further back behind them, Gwyn and
a replay here for Byron Daly. What has happened to the driver of the 06? Had a big wiggle there. Had to really get out of the throttle to make sure there wasn't a collision with Greg Sykes in the making. Did a good job not to come together. That was almost heart and mouth moment for both him and Greg Sykes, who is, of course, our championship leader, don't forget.
Yeah, indeed, and that would have been, quite awful for Greg Sykes, obviously, to, drive this safe and sound and solid race, which he practiced for so much. 250 laps just in the practice session of this event. Meanwhile, further in front of them, Liam Gwyn and Mitchell Ian Green still going at it for 6th place. So I think they're giving up hope now of catching this lead pack, at least on pure raw pace, and instead fighting it out for 6th place.
DJ, what sort of lap times is David McDonald putting in now that he's got himself back out on the track on those tyres? Should have come up to temperature.
They're up to temp, and he's actually going a little bit slower than some of the leaders. He's been caught up in a little bit of lap traffic and just having some problems with it. Both he and Daniel Kranfus, both just not seeming to have the actual pace there. They're maybe 2 or 3 tenths faster than they were when they came in, but nowhere near what the leaders are still able to do.
Yeah, and they're battling each other on the racetrack. This is burying them in the overall picture. They're losing more than they were. Well, they're going slower than they were, actually. Looking at his last lap, and not a good spot. David Soror is actually about to lap them both again. And he's in 11th place, as Aaron Rouse goes a lap down as well. So that leaves 14 cars on the lead lap. The pace being set by our leading quartet.
I think Wood's
Plus
about
one.
to come into the... Yeah, sorry, I think Wood's about to come into the pit lane, and he is. So Andrew Wood from 4th place, he came into the pit lane, so he's the first one of the leaders to open up the game. And earlier the guys pitted about halfway through, about lap 37-38, splitting this 75 lap race in two. But Andrew Wood here onto the pit lane, he's gonna come in at lap 46, and I'm gonna throw it to our pit reporter, DJ Clark here. DJ, what do you make of Andrew Wood's move? Is it a pure strategy, or does he think that it's gonna be basically the end of his best performance?
I'm not sure what he's thinking, to be honest, because I was watching him down the main straightaway, really conserving some fuel, so I think he's just trying to get a little bit of clean air coming out of here, maybe try to leapfrog a few people that way, as Mitchell Green coming in as well, and Declan Eady as the flurry of pit stops starts, so we'll have to keep an eye on Wood and see what his lap times are like. I honestly think he's looking for clean air.
And he has gone a lap down as a result of that, as we just saw on the replay as well, while you were talking, Mitchell Ian Green wrecking, grabbing the fence on the outside of turn 2, spinning down to the infield, and having to take a tow back to pit lane. It didn't bring out the caution. We stay green. Daniel Zegers now has come to pit road. So that move from Wood has triggered a reaction from our race leader. He doesn't want to get undercut here. And this may in turn now bring Ike, Chin, and Delp into the road as well, now that our leader of the race has made the dive to the lane.
Yeah, that's very interesting. That's very interesting what this is going to do to this race. However, Ike and Chin are moving on as Delp is coming into the pit lane. Yeah, correct, Ryan. So we have 3 guys now from the top 5 who have taken their chances into the lane, and the top 2 are still going. So great job by those 2 guys to save a little bit of fuel, Andreas Ike and Josh Chin, to be able to keep going, but they're both gonna come in this time around. So not
DJ, where's Zegers come out?
Zegers has come out in 8th place right now. He has come out ahead of Wood, so it looks like he may have called that a little bit right to go over as he crosses the start-finish right about now.
And Wood crosses now. So the gap between them is pretty much the same as it was before the pit stops. Maybe a fraction bigger, so that has worked out well for Zegers. He's covered off any potential undercut. But check out when Nicholas Delp rejoins. It is right alongside Zegers, but Zegers with the momentum, the warmer tyres, will clear him again as they come through 3 and 4. That is crucial because Delp wasn't exactly on the bumper of Zegers, or the gearbox before the pit stop. So where do Chin and Ike come out as they roll out of pit road now? This will be tight. Wood's got by Zegers, Wood's got by Delp as well. Look at the gap that Ike and Chin have pulled. It's massive. They both cleared Zegers by a substantial margin.
Yeah, that's a bit of clear air now between them, and now they have to run some more to be able to gap them more. And I wonder if Ike and Chin has this bit of a pact going on right now that, okay, let's not fight yet. Let's fight later on. We can decide to win among ourselves in the last 5 laps or so. There's no point fighting now. As the yellow flag is out and throws that to the wind. Wow. So, and
Declan Eady, potentially?
That could be, yeah.
Yeah, he's missing the left rear, as I see him down on the pit road replay. And he too slapped the fence. Outside of turn 4, though, as opposed to turn 2 where Green got it. And because turn 4 leads onto the main straight where there's concrete on either side, it means he stayed on the racetrack and the caution came out. It was very fortunate for Byron Daly to get through that.
Yeah, it is. Byron Daly, just behind him, just saw him going to the wall, and thankfully he saw him and anticipated maybe a little bit that he was going to come out of that wall. He left room on the right side initially. Then he realized that he's got to turn it off the wall as well at some point. Definitely does, and went straight to the wall. And that happens so often on ovals, Ryan. you end up on the wall, and then you just kind of, you know, end up stuck in there for a bit and end up turning yourself off it, and way too much of it.
Hey, so the question now is, we've got a big disparity between drivers that pitted early and drivers that pitted late in that run. The ones that pitted early, say David McDonald, Daniel Cranefoos, what's their tyre wear like? Because surely on this restart now, they're going to be under a bit of pressure because their tyres aren't going to be performing to the level of those around them. I think their saving grace is that the drop-off isn't that big. Fastest lap of the race for McDonald was a 30.160. His last lap before the caution was a 30.5. So it's interesting. What would you do here, Ozzy?
Try my best.
And it's still never enough, is it?
Yeah. I mean, it's really one of those things where, well, I mean, if you're in the back of the field and it's under yellow, why not pit again? I mean, you're not gonna lose anything. You're anyway in the back of the field. You're not gonna lose a lap. They're driving so slow around the track. You know, you might as well take the chance. That would be my thinking on that situation. But who knows? If you're gonna end up out there on the track, you know, with the bit of an older equipment and earlier pit stop, then maybe you're just thinking about right now about, okay, this is my second chance. Now I'm gonna get back in the pack. I'm gonna do things better than first time around, and I'm just gonna watch it basically. But what I would do if I was somewhere around position 11, 12, 13, I would absolutely try to pit. I mean, worst case scenario, I'm gonna end up 15th because Mark McDonald 16th is one lap down already, and best case scenario, I might end up way further than I would otherwise.
Well, they stay out. They'll restart from 9th and 10th. We'll see how it plays out for them. I think the minimal drop-off is definitely playing into their hands with taking that early stop, and it probably is what cost them a chance at an undercut as well, because they weren't really gaining by a substantial margin due to that small drop-off in tyre wear and tyre life, ultimate grip, and all the other glorious things that come with it. Big movers in the field then. On lap 55 of 75, Byron Daly is up 10 spots, started 18th, is now running 8th. Had a couple heart-in-mouth moments already that almost crashed with Greg Sykes and almost getting collected by Declan Eady's incident as well. Alex Goyon is up 4, so too is Aaron Rouse, and Jean-Francois Mattei is up 5, and he's the final car on the leader lap.
Yeah, he is. So great performances for all those guys, and you know, especially for Byron Daly, someone like that. Obviously, wasn't the happiest man around in qualifying. Couldn't actually put in a time there. In practice, however, he put in a 30.2, and that left him around halfway to the pack in practice times. So he has some pace, and I think he is one of those guys who's really wagered on the long run setup. And that's an interesting dilemma here, because when you saw the opening round at Phoenix, you could really think that, okay, it's gonna be a short runs. That's gonna be the king, the short run pace, 5 lap, 10 lap stints all the way to the end. But here we've had a clean race apart from lap 1 and that earlier incident. This is only our second caution, so suddenly drivers are finding out that, hey, we're gonna have to actually be in this for the long run. And I think that's really affecting the mindset of some of these guys as well. And that left maybe someone like Nicholas Delp a little bit, caught with his pants down, so to speak, and thinking, I actually don't have the long run pace. Mind you, he was our pole sitter.
It's going to be a short run to the end, no matter what now. We'll restart with somewhere between the vicinity of 15 and 20 laps to go. And for those guys at the front who've been playing nice so far, a couple of just a little crossover moves, being the limit of their aggression, are going to have to turn it up now and start battling to be in the lead, or maybe even second, depending on where they want to be for that final lap. Because we have got lights out on the pace car. We'll restart and cross onto lap 58. Which means 13 laps to go at Worldwide Technology Raceway for round 7 of the PRL Indy Pro 2000 Elite Series right here on the Global SimRacing Channel. Remember, if you want to see what lap times they're doing, you can head to GSRC.tv and it'll show you what everyone in the field is doing at any given moment.
And impress your friends with some knowledge as well, you know. It always sounds so professional when a spectator can just suddenly, you know, start chiming in with those lap times as well. But yeah, we're about to go green, and let's see how this turns out.
So Ike in control of the field. He can choose when he goes. Once the pace car peels off, which is done now, he'll wait. He'll wait some more. He'll keep waiting. Going to hold them very long. Now he goes. The green flag back in the air here at Gateway. Not a great launch. Chin's gone with him. Ziegler's with him. Then a bit of a gap back to Wood. And back to Delp. 4th and 5th. Strong through 1 and 2 though for Ike. Pulls a gap there.
Yeah, further back behind them as well. Greg Sides, Liam Gwynn, Barn Daly, 6, 7, 8, very close to each other. Daly having to check up a little bit. And this is going to allow David McDonald back into the mix. So he's going to potentially make some gains and maybe help his teammate out there. Greg Sides leading this little pack along. Are they going to go 3 wide down the main straight? Oh, it's very, very close here. And David's
that was a late defense from Liam Gwynn covering off McDonald. He did not want to get taken 3 wide to get stuck in the middle as Daly swoops around him and moves himself up into 7th place. Good stuff from him. But cast your eyes now back to the front. The machine is in range to get the substream and maybe try and slingshot by our leader. They've got time in hand over Daniel Ziegers back in 3rd. Last time by, he ran quicker. There's a small margin for Chin to get to the left or right of Ike and not be under pressure from behind.
Further back behind him, Barn Daly around, and that's going to be a yellow, and that's going to be number 74 in World as well.
Greg Sides,
that's Greg
championship leader. Major damage. He's been for a roll, and he is out of this race. That is going to have some pretty big implications. And this is how it unfolded. They were side by side. Sights on the inside, Daly up top. Sights washes up the racetrack, just gets into Daly. And around they go, and Sights, he found the inside fence in a big, big way.
Yeah, just on the corner exit, coming a little bit together, running just an inch too close to each other. Greg Sides, Barn Daly, just a tiny bit of netcode involved in that one as well. Here we're going to see him on board of Sides, and you're going to really see him coming to the inside pair. No problem here, but once he comes to the corner exit, he's just turning a little bit too much maybe, and just trying to, you know, keep out of the side of Barn Daly, but not gonna pull it off, and that's gonna end up with both of those cars in the wall. Barn Daly around, lacking his front wing, and Greg Sides for a hard ride into the fence, and man, he's gonna feel so bad about that one.
He will. So, in our driver's standings, he had a 19-point lead over Declan Eady. Good news for him as well. Eady's also found the fence. But Mark McDonald, Nicholas Delp, David McDonald, they could all stand to pull themselves into the championship fight. With a couple rounds left to go. It won't put them in the lead, but it will draw them closer, because at the moment, they're 31, 39, 41 points behind, respectively. Certainly, Nicholas Delp running in 5th, and David McDonald running in 7th. Definitely in with a shout. Mark McDonald, unfortunately, is a lap down in 15th. So keep an eye on those two. Big opportunity for these two to get themselves back in the fight.
Yeah, indeed, and it's gonna throw a huge wrench into Greg Sides' championship campaign, especially knowing how much trouble he has in ovals. Okay, he ran a great race so far. He was up in 6th place, up in the fight really for behind the almighty top 5. He was right there in the mix for some great points, but now he's gonna end up way back down, like retired from this event. Classified as 16th at the moment, probably gonna end up somewhere around pair as well. And we still have one overall round in the championship. Let's not forget that one. So we got Lucas Oil as the 10th round of the championship, finishing this one on 20th of August. 21st of August for us, Ryan, but 20th of August for our North American viewers. And that's a really, that's gonna make Greg Sides wonder, you know. He's suddenly feeling the pressure once again.
He is. Championship finales in themselves are tough on the leader, but when it's at a track you do not feel comfortable, he will need to put in a lot of practice. 240 laps he did in the official practice before qualifying and the race today. Maybe he needs to double that for our Lucas Oil, and maybe he can then get himself up in front and ahead of the drama. That's how quickly it can go wrong, though. He got it wrong by the slightest of margins through the corner, and that was enough to have catastrophic consequences. So lights should go out next time by. That means we should restart with 11 to go.
Yeah, we should, and that's actually an interesting point, because a lot of people talk about often, and we heard it. We both, Ryan, you know it, I know it, we heard it from some of our friends maybe even, and what's the difficulty about overdriving? It's just turning left, turning left, turning left. Well, that's the difficulty, because it is a short track, especially here at Gateway. It is a short track, you're gonna be racing so close to one another, just a tiny error, and it all goes wrong so easily. Like, you don't even realize you made an error. You're just running maybe half a car width wider than you normally would through the corner, and that's all she wrote.
Everyone can turn left. Everyone can drive these cars, but to drive them on the edge and the limit, and be Andreas Eich, who's leading this race, or our pole sitter Nicholas Delp, that's what takes a talent. It's the little nuances and those tiny margins that make all the difference. You know, much like a road course, anyone could drive a car around a road course, but there is a reason that there are professionals and consummate professionals perform time in and time out at the ultimate level in series like Formula 1 to go to the top extreme, or my local series, supercars, you know, the touring car stuff, NASCAR as well, obviously. If you go back to your oval stuff, it looks easy on paper, but it's at elite level where things start to become very difficult and nuanced. Lights are still on, by the way. We've got another lap to go on the pace car.
Yeah, that we do. And when you talk about V8 supercars and local series, and Ryan, obviously you got those touring car things. You got the top 10 shootout at Bathurst, and you got the Bathurst 1000, you got Phillip Island, all those wonderful tracks as well. Phillip Island on iRacing, as well as is Mount Panorama. We got rallying stuff here in Finland, a lot of that. We love our rallying. We also got something called folk racing, which is kind of like rallycross, but with cars that can cost at most 1,200 euros. And pit reporter DJ Clark, what is your local series, and why do you love it?
My local series, being from Indianapolis, is about quarter-mile dirt track midget racing. That's what I grew up on. That's what I absolutely love, going around to Indiana Sprint Week, Midget Week. That is my love.
Oh, that's see, I thought that was gonna go a different way, because you said I'm from Indianapolis, and I was like, oh,
well,
you're lucky. Yeah.
This is the first year in 17 years I have not been to the 500, so yeah.
Yeah, go figure. Well, it takes a toll on all of us. Ryan, we're just about to, I think, head for the final smash.
Road to the Indianapolis 500. Yes,
yeah.
This is the road to the Indianapolis 500. These cars are part of the official Road to Indy ladder. PRL have their own Road to Indy ladder, and this is one of them. Coming back to the green. 10 laps to go. Green flag back in the air. Good jump from our top three. Once again, small gap back to Woods, small gap back to Delp, who's under pressure from Liam Quinn. Down into turn one.
Lean further back as well. Pretty clean restart for all of these guys. Gonna get themselves back in line pretty quickly. Zegers, though, is gonna make a move for the second place here, potentially on Josh Chin, and gonna get through as well. Now, is Chin gonna use some of his own medicine on Daniel Zegers? Yes, he is. Look at this, a crossover on Daniel Zegers, Ryan.
Now, Zegers can steady himself. He can make it stick through turn two. And he will do that because a little bit too aggressive down low from Chin. Grabbed a little bit of the apron, or curbs, if you will. And that unsettled him and cost him some time. While they did that, Andreas Eich pulled a gap of close to a second. It's back down to half a second now. Zegers will start to reel him in. He goes 0.3 quicker on that last lap with 9 to go now. That 8 to go.
Yeah, very interesting between the top 2 here and throughout all the field as well. But we're focused here on the battle between those guys, as Wood is gonna go on the inside of Chin now. Actually, for 3rd place, gonna look to the inside, and I don't think he's gonna make it. But there is certainly an intent here, and Josh Chin suddenly looking maybe a little bit slower than the leading duo.
Essentially, his ultimate short run pace, not quite as good as it was earlier, might have been masked by a lowered aggression level earlier on. As here comes Andrew Wood down to the inside. And can he keep it this time? Don't think he will. Interesting to note, Nicholas Delp still running 5th, David McDonald still running 8th, looking to make big games in their championship. As we cross the line, the margin is less than 0.2 of a second. There's 6 laps to go now. As Ike runs it down low, Zegers will run it to the top. Looking for that clean air to help push the car down into the racetrack and generate that downforce. Here he comes, big momentum to the inside for turn 3, trying to clear Andreas Ike, but Ike is going to fight it. He's gone to the top side. Joshua Chin is closing as well now. Zegers completes the move. He doesn't move up. Ike gets back to his right-hand side. Chin is right there behind them. 5 to go.
Very interesting, and Zegers makes it through as well, but Ike is gonna come back on a crossover once again. Chin is just waiting, Wood is just waiting. This is gonna allow Delton to the mix as well.
Roll reversal through 3 and 4. Zegers does not want to get caught up high. He wants the crossover. He uses it. He takes it. He's going to get it back. Side by side, 2 by 2. They go, 4 to go. Here comes Chin. Big run to the inside, 3 wide into turn 1 for the lead of the race. How do they emerge? As 2 of them wobble, Zegers will keep the lead. Chin into 2nd. Andreas Ike back to 3rd. Caught on the outside, bottled in behind Chin, and on the outside of Wood now. So Zegers with a bit of a gap. They'll cross the line, they'll take 3 to go. And suddenly Chin might win this race just yet. Here he comes. On that inside, he's going to take it away. But Zegers, look at that run. Glorious stuff on the top. And that's going to cost Chin. His momentum gets killed, and he gets swallowed up by Ike and by Wood. Nicholas Delp's lurking in 5th. He's starting to close.
Yeah, he is, and Chin is coming back on the outside as well. He's following the 2-car draft. Wood made a bit of a mess of the exit, and Chin is gonna pass him. And Chin is looking closer to Ike, but not quite close enough to make an overtake. So it's once again wide open between these guys with just 1.5 laps to go. And Josh Chin, he's looking strong, but Zegers in the lead, he's looking even stronger, yeah.
He's got enough of a gap. The battling for 2nd is gifting this one to him. Through 3 and 4 for the penultimate time. They'll see the white flag this time by. Will we get there under green? Looks like we will. White flag in the air. One more time around. Worldwide Technology Raceway. The gap is just 0.2 of a second. Chin on the inside of Ike. This side by side may be enough to gift it to Zegers. As Chin down low can't carry the momentum. Andreas Ike up top. Zegers moving down the straight, trying to shake the draft. Wood's got the run as well, trying to take away 3rd. Through 3 and 4 for the final time. Wood's going to spin it. But out front, Daniel Zegers. He's played it to a T. Zegers gets it done at Gateway.
What a race, an absolutely deserved win for Daniel Zegers as well. He was the man all race long, and his season, it's been troublesome so far, but it's gonna come to a sweet ending under the Gateway Arch at St. Louis. And here you saw Andrew Wood as well spin into the wall on turn number 3 on the final lap. But here we see a replay of the finish as well. No, we see a replay of the Wood actually. And
Wood,
well, he tried his hardest.
We haven't seen that all day, have we? Rear end just stepped away from him through 3 and 4. He had nothing to say there.
Yeah, I think he was outside the just outside the optimal line, but he's still gonna finish this race, you know. Just finished lap number 75 as well. Finished his almost 3-wheeled wagon that was crabbing one way and just coming across the line 13th. But yeah, good outside the optimal racing line. That's gonna cost him about 7 positions as we see the winners celebrate, Ryan. And what a pleasant sight that is.
It is. Hey, we'll go to a break here on the Global SimRacing Channel. Wood, by the way, managed to just about creep across the line. When we come back, stay with us. We've got full results and interviews here from Gateway. Welcome back. It's Gateway. It's Worldwide Technology Raceway. Wrapping up, throwing conclusion to our 75-lap race for round 7 of the PRL Indy Pro 2000 series. This is how the results looked then at the end of it all. 0.6 of a second covering our top 4. Daniel Zegers winning from Andreas Ike, Joshua Chin in 3rd, and Delp coming home in 4th. Lee McQueen and David McDonald made up 5th and 6th place. Daniel Cranefuss coming home in 7th ahead of David Soror. Alex Goyon and Aaron Ralphs running out your top 10.
Jean-Francois Mattei, 11th, Marshall Stanley, 12th, and 10, Andrew Wood, managing to finish 13th after the last lap accident. Mark McDonald, 14th, 1 lap down, Baron Daly, 1 lap down, 15th as well. 10, our championship leader, Greg Sides, classified as did not finish. 16th, Edie, Green, Edwards, and Wilson as well, retired out of this race. And with that, well, what a race, what a finish, and we have men to talk to about as well, Ryan. And you got the man himself here in car number 8 on the interview point.
Yeah, Daniel Zegers, congratulations. That was a hard-fought win.
Holy smokes, fellas. Man, what a race. What a team effort there, too.
Yeah, it was a brilliant little battle. We had a great green flag run for the most part there, and then we set ourselves up, as so often you do at an oval, for a grandstand finish. You restarted from 3rd place. What were you thinking heading into that final restart?
Well, I figured I was going to be the first one to pit, leading some laps there. I know Andreas and Josh were kind of sitting back, so they were going to have a little more fuel. They could run another lap or two, so the undercut was definitely in play. And then I came out in 3rd, but because the car actually ran out of fuel on pit lane and was sputtering, and then ran into the pit stall empty. Luckily, it didn't hurt too much, but car handled fantastic in traffic. And Andreas, Josh, and I, man, great battles. Man, there's a lot of talent out there, and it was just a pleasure to be a part of it. But yeah, coming out in 3rd, I don't know. I thought it'd be in a decent spot, but I know it's hard to pass here. You got to get a lot of momentum, and it worked out.
Good win for you. We have another oval left in the season. We go to Lucas Oil to round it all off. Does this mean you're going to be coming back there, looking to double down on your oval win?
Man, I hope so. A big shout out to Team Talent, to JHD, that working miracles for us, and the whole team. Big shout out there. I can't tell them my appreciation enough. We were very competitive at Phoenix. That was kind of a sore subject for me. I was in it for the win there, hunting the win at least there towards the end of the race. Got taken out. Ovals have been really kind. So man, I hope so. But like I said, the whole Team Talent team is really strong at ovals, and I think we got. I know we have a really good shot. So hopefully that translates. But the rest of the year has been kind of it's been kind of down. So yeah.
Hey, who else you want to thank for helping me get it done here today?
I mean, big shout out to all the sponsors of the league, PRL putting it on, especially you guys. You guys do a great job in the booth, and it's a pleasure to go back and watch these. So just all the sponsors that make these leagues happen. Thanks to everyone again, and it was a pleasure to have it. I'm glad it ended as it did.
Hey, thank you very much. Congratulations once again.
Thanks, fellas.
Daniel Ziga is coming home with the win at the end of today's race, and Joshua Chin also here to have a chat with Ozzy.
Yes, indeed. And Josh Chin here, finishing in third place at Gateway. Well, Josh, first of all, was this result satisfactory to you from here today?
Yeah, obviously would have liked to get the win, but with the 6 of us having the pace we did, it was nice to just, kind of settle it between ourselves and not take each other out. We almost got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and unfortunately Andrew spun out in the last lap trying to go for it on the outside of me. But overall, I'm really happy with the race.
Yeah, talking about the end of the race, usually we start from the beginning, but let's start from the end here, because at the last couple of laps, we were wondering who was going to win this one. Ziggers, Ike, yourself, Nicholas Delp, Andrew Wood as well in the mix. Was it a conscious decision to start battling with Andreas Ike for the second instead of maybe, working together for a couple of laps and going for the win?
Yeah, I kind of figured at that point Dan was gone, and it was just kind of, you have to go for it then and there. It almost worked out pretty well with the run, but I just couldn't make the move low in 1 and 2 to make it stick. I think if I had, I probably could have gone Dan in 3 and 4, but I couldn't make 1 and 2 work on Andreas, and that was kind of the end of the race for me.
Yeah, still a great result for you. Early on, you were being pretty calm, and then later on, starting to show your fangs out there a little bit. Now, how about the rest of the season? It's been a bit up and down for you. Of course, you've been on the victory lane, and you've been pretty unsatisfied about a couple of results for a good reason. Mid-Ohio, Suzuka, Lucas Oil left. Out of those 3, which one is your favorite?
Probably Mid-Ohio. I love racing Mid-Ohio and just about anything, and especially open wheel cars. And I haven't started testing yet, and that'll be my morning tomorrow. But I'm looking forward to it because it's one of my favorite tracks in any car, especially open wheel cars.
Well, you got some brownie points from our director there, that's for sure. I loves Mid-Ohio as well, and it is a great track. Why not love it? Well, Justin, thank you very much for the interview. Congratulations for the 3rd place. And lastly but not least, who gets it done for you? Come on, give us the shout-outs, man.
Everyone at Team Talent. John put together an absolute rocket ship. I couldn't make anything that came within 2-3 cents of what he made for a race setup. He really knocked it out of the park this week and gave us something that we could fight solidly for a win, and we showed it there 1st through 5th. Everyone at Team Talent ran a great race. Craig Setup Shop can get a pretty fast race setup. It's not going to be this fast, unfortunately, but I think it's the fastest set in the field otherwise. And it's Wygan and Sim Shop for helping put together this rig.
Yeah, thank you, Josh, and thank you for all of those guys as well to allow these great drivers to get it done as well. It's a great thing to see drivers getting support. And well, with that, I think it's time to wrap up our interviews. We had 2 guys here today. Thanks for joining in. And Ryan, well, we saw an excellent oval race, and nothing better than an excellent oval race, is there?
No, there isn't. And it's another great race overall for our PRL Indy Pro 2000 series. Thank you again to Simsa for helping to make this possible. Thank you, of course, to PRL, who help to bring these broadcasts to life by approaching us here at GSRC and putting them all together. Remember, if you want to be a part of the Global SimRacing Channel, you can by just heading to the link in the description, and you can get your company seen by a big, diverse audience. We've got over 1 million impressions each and every month, so a great opportunity there to go and check that out. But thanks to the companies that organise provide the software and the hardware for our broadcast, which is listed there on your screen, as well as Tunalon, who provides all of our great music. Check out how to get a hold of their services by taking a look at what we got up on the screen there. Thanks to the team with today, Joe and Ozzy. You can find out more about GSRC, putting on upcoming races at globalsimracingchannel.com, or you can check out our social media on Twitter at GSR Channel, Facebook at Global SimRacing Channel, and Instagram GSRC_ground. Don't forget to hit subscribe to us on YouTube as well, so you don't miss a moment. plenty of other races coming up over the next week or so, including the Lionheart Retro Series coming up in about 20 minutes time, so check them out and mark them down. But from all of us here in the booth, thanks for joining us, and until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.